Welcome, ghouls, ghosts, and mere mortals, to the Hidden Creek Manor. Now, as you guys are probably aware of by now, we're a bit obsessed with Halloween here at the Hidden Creek Manor. But there's actually something else that we are almost equally obsessed with. That's Jeeps. We love Jeeps. We're a Jeep family. The lady of the manor and I have had quite a few Jeeps over the years on our own. And then as a family unit, we have 4 Jeeps right now. It's kind of an addiction. But anyway, this isn't a video about Jeeps. Or at least, it's only kind of about Jeeps. You see, this past weekend at Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
Myrtle Beach, Myrtle Beach, Myrtle Beach.
They had the Jeep Jam. And they do it every year in October. And it's a really cool event. There's a lot of amazing Jeeps there. But a lot of the Jeeps that are in attendance decorate for Halloween. So if we can combine our 2 obsessions, Jeeps and Halloween, into one family trip, it's a no-brainer for us. And on this trip, we stayed at Ocean Lake Resort, which also goes all out for Halloween. The different residents that are there really go all out. They decorate their properties. They do trick-or-treating. Kids dress up. It's a whole ordeal. So we decided to put together a video of the top 10 best decorated Jeeps that we saw at the Jeep Jam and the top 10 best decorated properties that we saw at Ocean Lakes. So let's get into it and take a trip to Myrtle Beach. All right, so first, let's take a look at the top 10 best decorated Jeeps that we saw at Jeep Jam. Coming in at number 10 is All Stitched Up. Now, this is a Frankenstein-themed Jeep, so of course I'm going to add it to a Halloween top 10 list. It has Frankenstein on the front with a green pumpkin. The headlights are green, has that black and green kind of mix, so definitely made the top 10. Really cool looking Jeep. At number 9 is Nimbus. Now, for those Harry Potter fans out there, you of course know what Nimbus is. And I love the fact that they really went with the Harry Potter theme. They named the Jeep Nimbus. It says, "I solemnly swear that I'm up to no good" across the top. They even have Trick or Treat on their light bar. And then they added additional decorations for the holidays. So you can see they've got the skeleton and the chains, and then the smaller skeletons kind of holding it down. So definitely a cool looking Jeep for the holidays. And at number 8 is Wicked. Now, this is a witch-themed Jeep, so of course it's going to make it into a Halloween top 10 list. But they also had a bunch of skeletons. Looks like there's a skeleton driving, a skeleton on the back, as the witch's hat on the top, and quite a few other cool decorations. So it made the list in at number 8. And at number 7, for all of you horror fans, is Chucky. This one is pretty cool. It had a couple Chucky dolls all throughout the Jeep. Bride of Chucky had that Chucky blanket across the top. It said Happy Halloween, had some additional skeletons. They went all out, so they made the list. In at number 6 is Winnie. So for those of you that have seen Hocus Pocus or Hocus Pocus 2, you know Winifred. They named the Jeep after Winnie. They did the whole Hocus Pocus theme. They leaned into it. They've got the 3 witches, they've got brooms, they've got skeletons and spider webs. So definitely one to make the top 10. Coming in at number 5 is Nightmare. Unfortunately, I didn't get a video of this one. I only got a picture. But as you can see, it's Freddy Krueger themed. Freddy Krueger is one of my favorite baddies from the 80s horror films that are out there. And they went all in. As you can see, they've got a really cool looking Freddy on the side of the Jeep. The name of the Jeep is Nightmare. It's got the bloody handprints on the window. It even has the song on the back window. So a really cool Jeep, really stuck to the theme. And that's why it made it in at number 5. Coming in at number 4 is the Doom Buggy. You guys know I love Haunted Mansion. Talked about it quite a few times on the channel. So when I saw that there was a Haunted Mansion themed Jeep, I knew it had to make the top 10, and it looked good too. It was black and purple, had Haunted Mansion stickers all over it. Even the seat covers were the Haunted Mansion wallpaper. So definitely wanted to put this one in the top 10, and that's why it made it to the number 4 spot, because I love Haunted Mansion. Coming in at number 3 is this Jeep, which I don't know its name, but it was really cool. I mean, of course, it's all solid black, but then it has the different animatronics that I'm not quite sure how they hooked up, but it works. You know, they had the jumping spider, they had the guy in the cage on the front of the Jeep, and then at the back of the Jeep, they had 2 more animatronics. They had the moving zombie animatronic, and then also the scary clown. So a lot of work went into putting on kind of a show with the animatronics on this Jeep. So that's why I thought it deserved a spot in the top 3. Coming in at number 2 is Sandstorm. Now the Jeep itself wasn't totally Halloween, but the amount of work that they put into it with all the skeletons is why I thought it deserved a spot in the top 2. There are skeletons on the outside of the Jeep, there are skeletons attached to the Jeep, there are skeletons inside of the Jeep, but what really stood out was at the very back of the Jeep, there was a giant skeleton head along with some spider webs that really put this one into the top 2. Now, before we reveal the number 1 spot, I just wanted to throw out some honorable mentions because there were some amazing Jeeps, some great decorations, and it was really hard to narrow this down to just 10, but, you know, I had to. But definitely some cool Jeeps decorated, whether it be like a dead mermaid theme. I saw it themed, a lot of Jeeps with skeletons on it. There's a Jeep with a really cool dragon on the side, and just some really cool, really creative Jeeps that were out there, but I just couldn't get them all into the list. One particular call out that I do want to mention though is this Venom Jeep. Now, it was amazing. They really stuck with the Venom theme, but it's not Halloween theme. You know, it's Venom. So I had to leave it out of the top 10. And then there were quite a few other Jeeps that were really cool and had some really cool decorations on the outside, but they didn't necessarily do a lot of decorations on the Jeep itself. So couldn't quite add everyone to the top 10, but at least I'll put them in the honorable mentions. And then coming in at number 1 is Duck and Dive. It's just covered in Halloween decorations. You've got the skeletons playing music on the back. You've got zombies that are climbing all over the Jeep, which they made the zombies actually out of spray foam. You can kind of see a little bit, and some old clothes, which I thought was a really good idea. And then they even had a fog machine on the front of the Jeep. So yeah, if you've got a fog machine going, you've got some DIY zombies, and you've got animatronics all in one display, I'm going to go ahead and give you a pretty good score on this one. So number 1 spot, well deserved, is Duck and Dive. All right, so now that we looked at the top 10 best decorated Jeeps at Jeep Jam, now let's switch gears and take a look at the top 10 best decorated sites at Ocean Lakes Resorts. Coming in at number 10 is this RV setup, which just had a whole bunch of really cool stuff going on. As you can see, some animatronics, some blow-ups, a lot of lights, looks like some homemade decorations, and this talking wizard at the end, which really kind of brought them into the top 10. Just having that there really kind of made it a little bit extra special and eked out some of the other contenders. All right, so coming in at number 9 is this one. Now, I love a good theme, and this theme was on point. They had the lights with the bartender, skeleton serving drinks. You had a couple skeletons sitting at the bar, a skeleton throwing up. Another skeleton looked like it was hungover in one of the beach chairs. So just wasn't the biggest display, but the theme was really cool. So I had to put it in the top 10 at the number 9 spot. And at number 8 is this display. I wish I'd gotten it at night because it looked really cool with that archway with some purple lights, but they had a really cool setup with the graveyard, with the skeletons, and that archway. Even the fences looked really good. So number 8 is where they sit. And number 7 is another camper that had some really cool decorations. They had quite a few animatronics. They had a bunch of blow-ups. They had a bunch of lights. They had flags, all kinds of stuff. They had the singing pumpkins that light up as well. And even on their golf cart trailer, they had a bunch of what looked like the McDonald's Halloween buckets that would light up and flash. So a really cool setup that they had going on. So had to make it into the top 10. And next on the list is this camper where the decorations were cool. I mean, they had lights and they had animatronics and spiderwebs and cool stuff. What really set this site apart was the people. They were dressed up in character. The man had a microphone that was hidden under his mask, and he was talking to the kids and to the spectators. Definitely played the part of the butcher trying to figure out whose foot it was, just having a good time. So had to put them into the top 10. And at number 5 is this witch theme decoration. They had a lot of really cool witches. They had a castle that they had in the background, animatronics. They had kind of it's a beach, and they even included kind of a nautical theme. So some really cool stuff. Coming in at number 4 was this Ghostbusters setup. I mean, they had actual carved pumpkins. Everyone was in character. They had the Ghostbusters. They had Rick Moranis. I forgot his character. They had the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. They had Slimer. They had a big screen that would play the movie when it got dark. Just a really cool Ghostbusters theme. I love a good theme, so number 4 it is. Coming in at number 3 was this awesome setup. Now, their decorations were great. You know, they had all kinds of stuff. They had lights and animatronics and you name it. But what really set this site apart and what really brought them into the top 10 was the old people characters. They got into it. They were having a great time, which in turn, everyone had a great time. You know, we were laughing. We were dancing along with them. Everyone else was as well. They just made it a really fun experience. So definitely wanted to put them in the top 3.
Perfect.
Coming in at number 2 was the haunted camper. This almost made it to number 1, and maybe if I was able to film the haunted house section, it might have made it into that top spot, but unfortunately I was not able to film that part. But this site went all out. They had an actual walkthrough haunted camper. They had all kinds of decorations outside of the camper, so while you're in line, you still get to look around and look at the animatronics. They had people in character. They had Michael Myers. They had a Sasquatch. It was just a really cool Halloween experience, a really cool haunted, like I said, trailer. that we got to walk through, and man, they really went all out on this one.
Perfect. Perfect. Perfect.
Before we get into the top spot, I did want to do some honorable mentions. There were a ton of really cool campsites that were decorated with all kinds of amazing things, whether it be animatronics or glow-ups or lights, all kinds of really cool stuff that we saw. Unfortunately, we did have to narrow the list down to just 10, so a lot of these did not make the list, but were still a really fun experience. Our family loved it. One particular site that I would mention that did not make the top 10 but was decorated pretty well is the Barbie house. And the reason it didn't make it into the top 10 is because it was Barbie themed and not necessarily Halloween themed. But they did go all out and really leaned into that theme and did some really cool stuff with that. Another one that I really liked was the Scooby-Doo themed one. I mean, they had the Scooby-Doo characters, they had a bunch of the baddies from Scooby-Doo, but it just wasn't quite enough to make it into the top 10. And taking home the top spot for the best decorated property at Ocean Lakes is the Halloween house. I mean, this thing was just super cool. It was lit up, they had the giant animatronics, they had really cool signs that they had made with different types of Halloween characters, they had skeletons, they had pirates, just a really cool experience and a really well done Halloween decoration. So congratulations to the Halloween house for taking home the top spot of the best decorated property at Ocean Lakes Resort. That's gonna do it for this episode, guys. I hope everyone enjoyed it. If you were at Jeep Jam and you decorated your Jeep and it didn't make the top 10 list and you might be a little bit upset about that, I do apologize. There were literally thousands of Jeeps at Jeep Jam, so we didn't get a chance to look at all of them. Maybe yours should have made the list. Feel free to leave a comment. There's a link to a picture. Be glad to look at it. Same thing with the residents at Ocean Lakes. If we did not feature your property in this and you thought that we should have, let us know about it. But for those of you that enjoyed the video, feel free to give it a thumbs up. If you want to stay up to date and notified with what we're doing at Hidden Creek Manor, just subscribe to the channel. But that's going to do it for now. Happy haunting, and we'll see you in the next one.
Congratulations. You made it to the end of the video. As a reward for sticking around, you may now watch one of these two videos. The choice is yours, but choose wisely.